The season is nearly over, but for football clubs the summer is just as busy. Some of the biggest names in the sport could be on the move, so which potential transfers should you be keeping an eye on? Hello there and welcome to Football Now from Doha. Now, the action on the pitch is about to come to an end for yet another season, which can only mean one thing. The transfer window is set to open once again. Football clubs can buy and sell players from July until the end of August and throughout January as well. But that doesn't stop the rumour mill from churning 24/7, 365 days a year. And in fact, for some fans, who their club is about to sign next becomes just as important as the results themselves.
I think there's a lot of different factors that feed into it. I mean, one of them I think is just this desire to sort of know what's going on day to day, and that demand has grown to the point where there's a lot of pressure now on people to provide scoops, and it's almost sort of an alternative success to what happens on the pitch, when your team beats a rival to signing a player. It kind of comes with that prestige of, being able to say that somebody's club has spent more money than somebody else's. I feel it's actually taken away a lot from quite a few people's understandings of football.
There are commonly two types of transfers in football. In some cases, players' contracts with their current clubs expire, making them a free agent and able to join any club of their choosing. This is appealing to potential suitors as they can sign the player without paying their current club a transfer fee. Then you have the big blockbuster transfers where clubs have to pay big cash to release a player from their current contract. Some players, particularly young stars, have what's known as a release clause in their contract, a sum which, if officially met with a bid, grants access to negotiate personal terms with the player automatically. Once a transfer fee and personal contract is agreed, the player completes a medical, a series of tests to make sure that they are in optimum physical condition to play for their new club. After everything is complete, the player signs the contract and the club unveils their new signing to the world.
Sometimes it can be a very straightforward transfer, sometimes it can be a lot more complicated. It depends on if the player has a lot of interest from a lot of different clubs. Obviously, there's a lot of legal proceedings that have to go in the contract as well. There's a lot of fine details. Again, there's so many different ways that a transfer can play out that it really is quite interesting for those of us who are in the industry to see how everything kind of moves in all the different working parts that maybe people outside don't really get a chance to see with a regular basis.
Let's have a look at some of the players that could be on the move this year then. One of those is Borussia Dortmund midfielder Jude Bellingham. After signing for them back in 2020, he's taken European football by storm and earned a regular place in his national side as well. As a result of that, many top teams on the continent are desperate for his signature, including Premier League giants Manchester City and Liverpool, along with the kings of Europe, Real Madrid.
From Real Madrid's point of view, I think it's a no-brainer. I think any side in the world essentially would be happy to have this player. I think the interesting thing will be that Bellingham plays in the Bundesliga, where perhaps his greatest sort of attributes and talents is his ability to break from midfield. He can get out of that first line of pressure, kind of burst forward even, and then sort of open up the game from there. For Real Madrid, he'll face a lot of deep lying defences, and so it will be sort of a class in how to exploit those defences, how to move them around, and how to create space in kind of tighter gaps. So I think from that point of view, it'll be interesting to see how he slots in, how exactly he's used early on. But in terms of technical ability, I mean, he can do it all.
Now, after leading the line in what is proving to be a historic season for Napoli, the Nigeria forward Victor Osimhen will no doubt be on the shopping list of many of Europe's elite this window. Manchester United are in the market for a striker to add to their list of attacking talent, and Osimhen could fit the bill perfectly.
I honestly think that Victor Osimhen is probably the best striker in recent years in terms of how well he would fit in the Premier League, generally speaking. Osimhen can do it all. He really does have no weaknesses. And also we know that the Premier League is a big target for him. He wants to go to the Premier League. There is no doubt that he suits Erik ten Hag's Manchester United as the number 9, as a tip in that 4-3-3 better than probably anyone. I mean, I understand Harry Kane, he's a fantastic, legendary Spurs striker, all-time England goal scorer. There's no, he's one of the best number 9s in the world and has been for many years. But if we're talking in terms of investment and in terms of characteristic, I think Victor Osimhen would suit Man United better than Harry Kane.
And the future of arguably the greatest player of all time isn't decided yet either. Lionel Messi has just 1 year left on his contract with PSG, and of course many other clubs are interested. A return to Barcelona 2 years after leaving the Nou Camp could be on the cards, and the Saudi Arabian side Al Hilal are rumoured to have offered an eye-watering €400 million per year to play in the Middle East and reacquaint himself with old foe Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, I mean, I think the thing to establish, first of all, is that there is a queue for Messi's signature, as you would expect. I don't think at this moment in time, we're going to get a concrete decision from Messi. I think he's going to give as much time as possible, notably so that Barcelona can get their, house in order to potentially be able to present an offer. But equally, he knows that offer from Saudi Arabia, which does exist, we can recognise that, will still be on the table in a couple of months' time, because why wouldn't Saudi Arabia, want Lionel Messi to come and play in their domestic league if they can at all get him?
Yeah, it's going to be a busy summer, isn't it? That brings us to the end of this week's show. Do let us know your thoughts at home using the hashtag FootballNowTransfers, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.